Jazz musicians sometimes like to play a little mind game. You're having a lovely time at a gig when you suggest the next tune, and then someone in the band casually says, "Shall we do the verse?" Everyone else silently panics. Do I know the verse? Maybe it's on that 1929 version. I think I can remember the first phrase. Can I get away with faking it, instead of admitting I don't know it? These moments don't have to be a source of panic, though. Maybe they're simply a helpful reminder that learning a tune might mean a bit more work than the fact you muddled your way through it on a gig 2 years ago, or checked out 35 seconds of the first version that came up on YouTube. But do you really need to pore over the composer's handwritten manuscript until you've got the verse, chorus, and patter sections memorized in all 12 keys? Would that even be a useful way to approach playing with other musicians today? I do think knowing the verse is pretty important, regardless of whether it's commonly played or not. Playing the verse once or twice in a performance provides a welcome contrast. It can even be a relief if the tune in question is repetitive. Take the verse of Puttin' on the Ritz, for example. Its major key sets off the arpeggio-based minor key chorus beautifully. Verses often set up the chorus too, especially through lyrics. If you regularly play with singers, you'd better know the verses so that they can tell the whole story of each song. Sometimes the writers did a particularly nice job on the verse too, and it would be a shame to miss it. One of my favourites is the rarely heard verse to Exactly Like You, which I actually prefer to the chorus.
I used to have a perfect sweetheart, not a real one, just a dream. A wonderful vision of us as a team. Can you imagine how I feel now? Love is real now, it's ideal. You're just what I wanted, and now it's nice to live, paradise to live. I know why I've waited.
So where do you go to learn these verses? Fortunately, there are numerous online archives that allow you to view the original sheet music, and the tunes they don't have can often be purchased elsewhere online. Going to the original sheet music provides a source you can trust, especially with regard to the melody and lyrics. But sheets aren't without their quirks. Sometimes you'll have to spend a long time working out a usable set of chords, and depending on the edition, there might be differences. For instance, take a look at these two versions of Way Down Yonder in New Orleans. Here's the 1922 version, which includes the patter section. But here's a later version with just the verse and chorus. Other problems arise if the sheet music tells you one thing and the records tell you another. Are you going to be the pedant who tells Louis Armstrong he played and sang the melody of Stardust incorrectly? Referring to the sheet music helps you a great deal, but it's no substitute for actually knowing the recordings. Finding the sheet music to Wild Man Blues won't teach you the difference between the Morton and Armstrong and Dodds versions, such as where the breaks take place. It's not just about the horn players and singers, by the way. Rhythm section players need to know where the chords and melodies fall, so that their fills and accompaniment complement rather than compromise the performance.
Sometimes I wonder why I spend a lonely night, baby, I know, dreaming of a song melody, my memory, and I'm once again with you. When the love was new, always, each kiss an inspiration, baby. That was long ago, now my consolation, it's in the stardust of a song, beside a garden wall. When stars are bright, you were in my arms, baby. The nightingale is very ill, our paradise where roses bloom. Though I dream in vain, oh baby, in my heart it my stardust melody, the memory of love refrain, mama, love refrain.
So which direction do you jump when the sheet music and recordings differ? I like to weigh it up on a case-by-case basis, depending on what I prefer. Take for example the last 4 bars of I Can't Give You Anything But Love. Musicians rarely play these as written, but I think they're really pretty, so I play them. It doesn't bother anyone, and it makes me happy. To go back to Exactly Like You, it's rare for contemporary musicians to play bar 5 of the chorus correctly, but it's a melodic detail I think really matters. I also like the plaintive sound of the original melody of I'll See You in My Dreams. Note the melody on E natural over a C7 chord at the beginning. Most musicians today play this as an E flat or use a chromatic phrase, but I think that glosses over a beautiful moment. Then there are melodies like I Got Rhythm, which has an ironically repetitive structure. Playing this as a jazz musician really demands some rhythmic variation. Another example might be Louis Armstrong's elastic approach to the melody of Black and Blue. Sometimes the sheet music is best treated as a guide, not a rule book. Learning a tune may sometimes mean preparing to play it in a variety of ways, depending on whether the band goes one way or another. If you all know the original version, maybe that's a good bet. But if you're the only one stubbornly strumming away at those sheet music changes, people will think it's you in the wrong. A good example can be found in the last 4 bars of All of Me. The melody originally went down to an A flat, but many recent lead sheets actually show an A natural. So which chord are you going to play, F minor or D minor 7? You better be ready for either. The chord changes that suited a sing-along around the piano may not be the best for a freewheeling jazz ensemble, so thoughtful editing is to be expected. A complex song like When Your Lover Has Gone can be played any number of ways, so knowing a few of them beforehand is the best preparation. It's not enough to be correct. You have to be correct for the occasion. Singers obviously need to know lyrics, unless they intend to scat their way through everything. But do instrumentalists need to learn them too? Sax players Lester Young and Ben Webster are sometimes said to have known lots of lyrics, with the assertion being that this helped them tell a story musically. At the very least, knowing the general message of the lyric can help. Things aren't always what they seem from the title. Fascinating Rhythm speaks of frustration, and A Fine Romance of dissatisfaction. But just like melodies and chords, lyrics aren't sacred. New lyrics were written by many 20s and 30s performers, such as Annette Hanshaw and Fats Waller. And singing some original lyrics would provoke too much controversy. There's a massive difference between understanding a recorded performance in its historical context and then going ahead and performing it that way today. It's clear that knowing a tune properly can take a great deal of study. In fact, it's probably not a task you can ever really finish. There are so many rich delights to be found in referring back to old sheet music and recordings, and while playing a song your own way may be a noble goal, I always think it's best for this to be by choice, not by accident.